Happy New Year! What do these words mean to you? Is it just a celebration or a new beginning, a chance for a fresh start? Every year, we celebrate the arrival of a new year, but what makes this year different from the others? Will it be the year of change? Will it be the beginning of achieving your dreams? Each year is a new opportunity, a chance to change something in your life, to start over, and to reach your goals. But the question is, have you written your resolutions for this year? Have you set your dreams and plans? Or will you postpone them like you did in previous years? Now is the perfect time to start. Don't wait another moment, because what happens this year depends on what you do today. If you're ready to embark on a new journey of change, the first step starts with you right now. Are you ready to make a difference in your life? This video will take you on a journey with Lily, who decided to start this year in a different way. Her resolutions and dreams are not just words in a notebook, but real steps toward a better life. Let's begin together, step by step, and learn how small decisions can make a big difference in our lives. Let me know if you need any further adjustments. In a quiet neighborhood of the city, where the cold gently crept through the windows, people were getting ready to welcome the new year. The streets sparkled with hanging lights, and the sound of children's laughter filled the air as they carried colorful balloons. In the distance, the sounds of fireworks echoed in the sky, as if marking the beginning of a new chapter in everyone's life. But inside a small room overlooking a simple balcony, Lily sat quietly, holding a cup of hot tea in her hands. The sky was full of stars, but she felt like she was the only one in the world not celebrating. She opened her window to let the cold breeze in, as if searching for something invisible to comfort her. On the table beside her, there was an empty notebook and a simple pen. The notebook wasn't just paper, it was a space waiting to become a new beginning. She stared at it for a long time, feeling as if the words were hiding inside, waiting for the right moment to come out. Everything around me is changing. Why do I feel like I'm not changing? She said to herself. Lily was a girl who loved dreams but was afraid to start. She had always wanted many things: to read books, to learn a new language, to go on adventures, but she always said, tomorrow, not today. Yet, on this night, she felt something different. The time was now 11:59 p.m., and the seconds were passing slowly. The countdown sound from the street was rising. 10, 9, 8. Lily looked at the clock, as if waiting for something. When the clock struck midnight, she closed her eyes for a moment, then opened them and firmly grabbed the pen. She wrote the first sentence on the first page. This year will be different. She paused, then closed her eyes to imagine what that really meant. In her mind, she saw herself walking inside a large library filled with books, talking confidently to new people, traveling to places she had never seen before. For a moment, she felt like she was finally touching her dreams. But how do I begin? Lily thought. Then she quickly wrote a small list. 1. I will read one book every month. 2. I will learn 5 new English words every day. 3. I will make at least one new friend this year. She smiled as she saw these words forming before her. Simple, but it's a start, she said to herself. Then she remembered another idea. She opened a new page and wrote, "My dream is to visit the biggest library in the city. I will go there and find the perfect book for me." She felt her heart racing. She knew that achieving these resolutions wouldn't be easy. There were many obstacles she might face, like the fear of new places or speaking a language she wasn't strong in, but she was ready. Lily closed her notebook and looked up at the sky filled with fireworks. She whispered, "I'm ready for this journey. The new year. I'm coming." In that moment, Lily didn't know that these small resolutions would lead her on an adventure greater than she imagined, full of challenges and surprises, and perhaps even new friends who would change her life forever. With the dawn of the new year, the world seemed to wake up on a blank page. A gentle beam of sunlight crept through Lily's window, softly brushing her face as if whispering, "Come on, today is the beginning." Lily woke up feeling different, a mix of excitement and fear, but she knew she had to take the first step. She sat on her bed for a minute, contemplating the notebook she had placed beside her since last night. She opened the page and read the resolutions she had written. This year will be different. She decided to start with something simple, taking care of her health. She had always postponed this decision for later, but she felt today was the right day. She went to her closet, took out her old sneakers, and put on comfortable clothes. She stood in front of the mirror for a moment, smiled, and said to herself, "Today, I begin." Lily left the house, and the air was cold, with the sky covered in light gray clouds. Yet, she felt an energy pushing her forward. When she reached the nearby park, she stopped for a moment to enjoy the view. The raindrops left on the tree leaves sparkled under the shy sunlight, and the air was filled with the smell of wet earth, bringing back memories. Step by step, Lily said to herself as she began to walk. At first, her steps were slow, as if she hesitated, but little by little, she began to feel at ease. As she walked, she started to notice the small details she hadn't paid attention to before. Children running and laughing while holding kites. Trees swaying gently with the wind as if they were dancing. Birds singing as if celebrating the new year. Everything around her seemed to hold new meaning, as if life was whispering to her, "Look how beautiful we are when you give yourself a chance to notice us." When she finished walking, she sat on a wooden bench under a large tree. She took out her phone and wrote herself a small note. "Today, I walked for 30 minutes. I feel good. Tomorrow, I will do it again." She smiled at herself as she closed her phone, then looked up at the sky. She felt that this small beginning carried within it a great energy to change her entire life. As she walked back home, Lily thought, "If I manage to take this step today, what's stopping me from achieving the rest of my resolutions?" This was the beginning of a new journey. A small step, but with a heart full of determination, Lily took her first steps toward a new year. A different one. After a long day in which she felt proud of taking her first steps toward a new life, Lily sat in her room under the soft light of a small lamp beside her bed. The notebook was in front of her again, as if she had a special date with her dreams. She closed her eyes for a moment and recalled an old memory, the sound of the piano she used to hear every day from the neighbor's window when she was a child. Lily had always loved music. Playing the piano had been her dream for years, but she never gave herself the chance to achieve it. Maybe now is the right time, she thought. She grabbed the pen and wrote her second resolution. I will learn to play the piano. She looked at the words for a while, feeling a mix of excitement and hesitation. Am I ready? Can I learn something new now? She wondered. But she decided that the only answer to these questions was to try. She picked up her phone and started searching for music schools in her area. The search opened a long list of options, but she felt confused. Which one is the best? Which one suits me? She continued browsing until she found an ad for a teacher offering affordable lessons for beginners. She paused for a moment, her hand about to click the call button, but she felt hesitant. Will I be good at this? What if I fail? Thoughts started crowding her mind. She got up and stood by the window. She looked at the sky, which was adorned with faint stars. She remembered her decision from the night before. This year will be different. Fear won't stop me this year, she said aloud, as if convincing herself. She returned to her phone and pressed the call button. The phone rang for a few seconds before a friendly voice answered on the other end. Hello, how can I help you? Lily spoke hesitantly. Hello, I want to learn how to play the piano. Do you have lessons for beginners? The teacher assured her that the lessons were simple and that anyone could start, no matter their age or level. Lily felt a sense of relief, and they agreed on a time for her first lesson. She hung up the phone and smiled at herself. Another step toward achieving an old dream. But she didn't stop there. She opened a new page in her notebook and wrote, Things I need for my piano journey. 1. Find a small keyboard that fits my budget. 2. Dedicate 20 minutes daily for practice. 3. Learn one simple song by the end of the month. She felt as though she was planning for a new adventure. The next day, she began searching for a small piano that fit her budget. She was excited and determined to start her journey, no matter how small it seemed. Deep inside, Lily realized that this decision wasn't just about music, it was about proving to herself that she could revive her postponed dreams, even if time had passed. She sat again in front of her notebook and whispered, This year, I will not just dream. I will act. With this spirit, Lily understood that a postponed dream doesn't die, it waits for the right moment to bloom again. The first week was full of challenges. Every morning, Lily put on her sneakers and went out for a walk in the park. But she didn't feel the change she had hoped for. Her steps were sometimes heavy, and her body grew tired quickly. As the days passed, the question haunted her, is this effort worth it? Each evening, she sat in front of the small piano she had bought with so much excitement, but her fingers seemed to move so slowly. She tried to play the first simple exercise, but the sound didn't come out as she had imagined. She felt frustrated. Maybe the piano isn't for me. Maybe I was wrong. One night, she sat in her room after a day of disappointment. She placed her head in her hands and whispered, "Why is everything so hard? I could have just watched and listened instead of trying." But when she lifted her head, her eyes landed on her notebook, open on the table. She slowly approached it and read the phrase she had written on New Year's Eve. "This year will be different." She remembered that moment, the feeling of hope and the desire for change. She closed her eyes and recalled the sound of fireworks that night. She felt something small inside her refusing to give up. She opened a new page in her notebook and wrote, "I feel tired, but I won't stop. Small steps are still progress." Then, she made a simple plan. 1. I will walk 20 minutes instead of 30 until I feel stronger. 2. I will practice one finger exercise every day until I get better. 3. I will not judge myself too soon. Change takes time. Lily felt some comfort as she saw the plan in front of her. She decided to give herself the time to learn and improve. The next morning, she put on her sneakers and went out for her walk as usual, but she didn't push herself too hard. She stopped halfway to take a deep breath and noticed that the weather was particularly nice. She felt a sense of relief she hadn't felt in days. She whispered to herself, "It's not about quick results, it's about trying." She remembered something her piano teacher had told her in the first lesson: learning anything new is like planting a tree. It starts with small roots, but with care, it will grow. That night, she closed her notebook but added one last sentence before bed. "Progress is slow, but I am moving forward." Lily began to realize that obstacles weren't signs to stop, they were part of the journey that would make success in the end even sweeter. The midday sun was warm, and the sky was clear, as if celebrating Lily's return to her daily walks. She took steady steps along the park's pathways, trying to listen to the sounds around her instead of losing herself in her usual thoughts. Children laughed, birds chirped, and even the wind whispered gently between the branches of the trees. As she walked, a strange yet beautiful melody caught her attention. She stopped for a moment, following the sound until she reached a wooden bench under a large tree. There, an elderly man sat holding a small musical instrument with silver strings. Lily didn't know the name of the instrument, but she felt it carried a story. She watched the man play, his fingers moving gracefully and easily over the strings. She sat on a nearby bench, hesitant to speak. He noticed her presence and smiled kindly. "Hello, young lady. Did you enjoy the music?" Lily smiled and replied, "Yes, it's very beautiful. But "I've never seen an instrument like this before." The man laughed and said, "This is an old instrument called the violin. I've been playing it since I was your age. Music was my life." They chatted for a little while, and Lily began to feel more at ease. She told him about her old dream of learning to play the piano and the challenges she faced in her first week. The man nodded and smiled, saying, "Everything is hard in the beginning, my dear. Even when I started playing, I felt like I couldn't produce a single beautiful note. But I learned something important: patience." Lily listened to him attentively, as if he held the answers to the questions she hadn't found solutions for. He continued, "Learn to enjoy the journey. The goal isn't to become a professional overnight. The goal is every moment you live while trying, every feeling of pride when you take a small step forward." His words felt like a key unlocking a new door in Lily's mind. She remembered every moment she had felt frustrated, every time she compared herself to others. But now, she saw things from a different perspective. "But what if I feel like I'm not improving?" Lily asked. The man smiled and said, "Even the tallest trees were once small seeds. Don't measure your progress day by day. Instead, look back after a month, and you'll find you've come much further than you think." Before she left, the man took a small notebook from his bag, tore out a page, and drew a musical note on it. He said, "This is a reminder: music is patience and love, like everything beautiful in life. Keep this, and come back here when you play your first tune." Lily took the paper with a grateful smile. She felt a new energy flowing through her body and soul. As she walked home, she opened her notebook and wrote, "I met a musician today. He taught me to enjoy the journey, not just focus on the destination." From that moment on, Lily no longer saw obstacles as enemies, but as part of the beautiful story she was creating, day by day. Lily felt that her journey towards change needed additional support. She realized that walking alone sometimes weighed her down, and that having people share her goals with her could give her a fresh boost. One day, while browsing social media, she came across an advertisement for a fitness group in her neighborhood. She thought for a moment, what if I shared my fitness journey with others? Maybe it would become easier and more fun. On a Saturday morning, she headed to the park where the group met. A young trainer welcomed her with an encouraging smile and said, "Welcome. We're here to enjoy ourselves, and it doesn't matter what your fitness level is. The important thing is that you move." Lily began attending the group daily. At first, she felt a little tense, but soon she blended in. They cheered each other on, exchanged tips and jokes during the exercises. Lily felt that being with others made everything easier and less exhausting. At the same time, Lily decided to take her musical dream a step further. While looking for a place to develop her skills, she discovered a small music club in her neighborhood. The club offered group lessons for beginners, along with the opportunity to perform in monthly amateur shows. When she visited the club for the first time, she felt nervous. The place was small but full of life, the sounds of musical instruments mixed with laughter and discussions. She met the music teacher, who listened to her story and said enthusiastically, "We all started from zero. Here, you won't be alone. You'll find support and encouragement from everyone." As the date of the first monthly performance drew near, Lily felt nervous. "Am I ready to perform in front of an audience?" she asked herself every day. But the teacher's words came back to encourage her. "No one here expects perfection. We're all here to enjoy the music and your effort." Lily began to find a level of support she had never experienced before in these groups. Her fitness friends sent her morning messages to remind her to work out, and cheered her on when she felt tired. The members of the music club shared tips and exercises to improve performance. One day, she wrote in her notebook, "I discovered that community is a powerful motivator. Alone, I hesitate. With others, I dare to dream bigger." Lily began to realize that change wasn't just about individual decisions, but also about the environment around her. Each person in these groups was part of her journey, supporting her every step of the way, whether in the park or in front of the piano. Lily felt an excitement she hadn't experienced in years. For the first time in a long while, she no longer saw life as a list of duties to accomplish, but as opportunities waiting to be lived. Months passed quickly. With each step Lily took towards her goals, she began to feel like she was drifting further away from herself. Work consumed her time, and the daily pressures started to pull her away from her commitment to her resolutions. At first, walking for half an hour every day seemed easy, but over time, her walks became less frequent. She walked less than before, and on some days, she chose rest instead of movement. Her piano, which had once been her dream, now stood covered in dust in the corner. Every time she looked at it, she felt a weight in her heart, as if the dreams she once had at the beginning of the year were slowly fading away. The feeling of frustration wasn't new to her. She felt like everything was falling apart. She would sit in her room in the evening, scrolling through her phone, comparing herself to others who seemed to be achieving great success. How did they succeed while I'm here, unable to even play the piano? The pain in her heart grew, and she almost gave up on everything. But one day, while cleaning her desk, she found something she had forgotten. It was a letter she had written to herself at the beginning of the year, wedged between old papers. She read the letter aloud, quietly. "Remember, you are strong enough to start again." Something inside her stirred. "Start again," she repeated the words in her mind. She didn't need to be perfect or reach her goal quickly. All she needed to do was start over and give herself a second chance. In that moment, she felt something shift within her. It's okay. I can start again. It's never too late. She decided to reorder her priorities. She stopped caring about perfection or rushing to reach her goals. Instead, She focused more on being consistent. In that moment, she decided to begin anew, as if the year had just started. The next day, she put on her sneakers once again. This time, the distance she would walk was shorter, but it meant more. She decided to walk for only 15 minutes, without putting pressure on herself. She felt a sense of relief in the idea that she didn't have to be perfect in everything. After that, she sat down at her piano, not concerned about whether the sound would be perfect or not. She simply played the keys with love, as if she was reclaiming a part of herself she had lost. She wrote in her notebook, "I am starting over. Every small step counts." She now understood that life wasn't a straight path, it was full of twists and falls. But falling wasn't the end of the road, it was an opportunity to stand up again and start anew. After a period of pause, Lily began to realize something important. Change doesn't mean perfection. It means persistence. She had felt discouraged in the past, but she had learned that falling wasn't the end of the road, it was a new beginning. She decided to come back stronger this time, setting a clear plan that would allow her to achieve her goals without feeling pressure or exhaustion. One night, Lily sat with her notebook and pen, reordering her priorities. "I will dedicate time to each goal. I won't pressure myself, but I'll be flexible." She wrote a simple plan. 1. Walking, 3 days a week, only 20 minutes. 2. Piano, 3 days a week, 15 minutes of daily practice. 3. Rest, 1 day a week for rest and rejuvenation. The plan was clear, time allocated for everything, without feeling guilty if I can't achieve perfection. On the first morning, she put on her sneakers, but this time, she didn't expect to cover a long distance. She just wanted to feel the movement again. With each step, she felt something growing in her heart, a sense of accomplishment she hadn't felt in a while. She realized that each step meant progress. The following evening, Lily sat in front of her piano. She felt nervous, but this time, she was calmer. She played the first simple piece she had learned at the music club, and the piano's notes rose with each press of the keys. When she finished playing, she noticed that the teacher and members of the club were listening attentively. Then they began to clap. The applause was warm, full of encouragement. She felt something she had never felt before. I am on the right path. The feeling of success was overwhelming, not just because of the music, but because she knew she had returned to what she had dreamed of. Every small step was a sign of the change happening in her life. Lily didn't need to wait until she achieved the bigger goals to feel successful. Every small goal and every simple progress strengthened her confidence. At the end of the week, she sat down with herself and wrote in her notebook, "I am stronger than I thought. Every small step has brought me closer to my dreams." Lily felt that she had started to rebuild her life, and this time, no obstacle would stop her. For every time she fell, she found within herself the ability to rise again, coming back stronger. As time passed, the changes in Lily's life became more evident. She wasn't just taking small steps toward her goals, she was transforming into a different person, one full of energy and vitality. Her friends and family noticed this obvious change. They saw her waking up every morning with a smile, her face carrying hope and ambition. At first, those around her thought it was just a temporary phase. But as the weeks went by, they realized that Lily had begun a real journey toward improving her life. She was no longer just a person striving to achieve her personal goals, she had become an inspiration to everyone around her. Lily started sharing her journey on social media. She didn't aim to boast or exaggerate her achievements. She simply wanted to share the challenges and successes she had experienced. She wrote about the days when she felt discouraged and the moments when she rearranged her priorities. She documented every step, big or small, because she had learned that every step mattered in the journey. It's not about reaching perfection, but about continuing to strive for better, she wrote in one of her posts. Lily was surprised when she began receiving messages from people she didn't know. They wrote to her about how her story inspired them to start changing their own lives, how they began exercising or learning new things, or how they finally decided to pursue the dreams they had put off for so long. The impact was greater than she had expected. One of her friends, who had always been hesitant to take any steps toward change, decided to enroll in an art class he had wanted to join for years. Another friend decided to start learning a new language, while some of her family members began setting aside time for regular exercise and talked about how they had started organizing their time better. Lily began to realize that her influence didn't stop at herself. Her story had inspired others to change their lives as well. One time, a follower wrote on her account, "Thank you, Lily. Because of the challenges you've shared, I decided to join the gym today, and I finally learned that I can change my life." Over time, Lily gained a large number of followers who encouraged and motivated her. They followed every new post, sharing their own experiences. She felt that her story had become part of something bigger, and that the change she had started wasn't just a personal journey, but a source of inspiration for others to start their own journeys too. In the end, Lily wrote in her journal, "I never realized how my journey could inspire others. Every small step I take has a ripple effect. We are all connected through our shared stories." Lily felt immense pride in becoming part of a network of people who were embracing change and encouraging one another to achieve better. The more she inspired others, the stronger and more determined she became to continue her own journey. As Lily sat with her friends that special evening, she reflected on all the moments she had experienced. She couldn't believe how much her life had changed over the past year. In the beginning, it felt as though she was trapped in a never-ending cycle, but now, she had become an inspiration to others. She realized that success wasn't just about achieving distant goals, but about the ability to keep trying and moving forward. But then, an exciting idea struck her. She turned to her friends and said, "What if we all start making new decisions together for the coming year? It won't just be about personal goals, it will be a collective journey where each one of us strives to achieve something new, and we support each other along the way." Excitement filled the room. Everyone began thinking about their decisions for the new year, but this time they decided not to face the challenges alone. They chose to be part of a supportive network where each person would contribute to motivating the others, sharing successes and setbacks together every step of the way. "Let's start now," Lily said. "We won't wait, we won't delay. We'll begin now, making decisions that will change our lives." At that moment, Lily felt that not only had she made a difference in her own life, but she was also starting a real movement that encouraged everyone to begin making their own decisions and pursuing their dreams. She knew that a new year held new opportunities, and there was no better time than now to start a new journey. How do you start? Now, as you watch this story, you might wonder, how do I begin? The answer is simple. Start by identifying what you truly want in your life. There's no better time than now to take a small step toward your goal. It could be as simple as writing a small resolution, like I want to learn something new this year, or I want to take better care of my health. But the most important thing is to start. Don't wait for the perfect moment, and don't tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow. The real beginning is the moment you make the decision, the moment you decide that you're ready for change. Every small step brings you closer to your dream. Every day is a new opportunity to be better. Every year is a new beginning. Every moment is an opportunity. So, are you ready? Are you ready to be the hero of your own story? Start now and make your decision. The journey of change begins with one step, and we are here to support you every step of the way. Let this year be different, and let it be the beginning of a new journey in your life.